Good evening and welcome. I'm Cheryl Camisa, Executive Director of the Leakey Foundation, and I am delighted you have joined us tonight for this special celebration to honor our beloved President, Camilla Smith. We have a full program planned and expected to last an hour and a half, and we hope you're able to stay the entire time. And if you haven't already, please pour a glass of your favorite festive beverage because tonight is a party. While we plan to focus our attention tonight on the extraordinary leadership Camilla has offered us over the past 6 years, there is no denying her passionate commitment to our mission for over 4 decades. When Camilla and George joined the Leakey Foundation as fellows in 1974. It was our sincere wish that we could be together in person for this party. However, the bright side is we are joined by folks from all across the USA who normally would not have been able to join us here in San Francisco. Ever the optimist, I hope we will be in community soon to offer you, Camilla, handshakes and hugs. To set the tone for this evening, I am pleased to introduce Bill Richards, who joined the Board of Trustees in 1984 and received the honorary title of Life Trustee in 2001. Bill, the spotlight is yours.
Well, it's such a pleasure to be part of this extraordinary program honoring Camilla. I think back over the time that I've been involved. I'm in my 80s now. I have spent half of my adult life, over 21, as a trustee of the Leakey Foundation. And the last 6 years has been under the brilliant leadership of Camilla, who we're honoring tonight. During that 6 years, I should point out, as Cheryl had mentioned earlier, she is the 10th president of the foundation. During that period of time, we have given away close to $6 million of endowment income to various proposals and grant requests. During that same period of time, in addition to giving away all this money, our endowment, thanks to the generosity of so many trustees, has grown from $20 million 6 years ago to over $30 million today. That is just a phenomenal growth rate. And during this same period of time, we have dealt with the horrors of the year 2020, worst in my memory, and thank God it's over. So in view of the fact that it is after 5 o'clock everywhere in the lower 48 between San Francisco and New York, I'm going to raise my glass and give a toast and a cheers to Camilla, or as we say in Southern California, salud. Bottoms up. Cheryl, back to you.
Thank you, Bill, so much. It is now my pleasure to introduce a video message from Dr. Kelly Stewart and Dr. Sandy Harcourt.
Hello, Sandy Harcourt here. I and my wife and colleague, Kelly Stewart, are happy to be part of this celebration for Camilla Smith.
Hi, Camilla.
Hi, Camilla. We're now retired from maybe too many years at the anthropology department at UC Davis. We began our careers studying mountain gorillas. So the Leakey Foundation, which for a long time helped fund the research on the gorillas, has been part of our professional life for decades. I served on the Leakey Scientific Executive Committee for many years. And during this time, Kelly and I got to know Camilla Smith quite well in her position as trustee, and especially during her 6 years as Leakey Foundation president. This should have been.
Sandy and I just want to say what a pleasure it's been knowing Camilla all these years. What's always struck us is her incredible enthusiasm and energy and her undying curiosity for all things relating to the quest for human origins. And we have been awed by her dedicated outreach efforts, bringing the methods and fruits of scientific research to a wider audience, most importantly, schools. I really think that in the course of Camilla's presidency, the already close bond among Leakey Foundation executives, trustees, staff, and scientists has grown stronger, as has the tie between the foundation and the general public. So more and more people are being brought into the fold. So Camilla, thank you for your leadership, your talents, and many congratulations on everything you've achieved. May the quest for who we are continue.
Yay!
Hooray indeed. Thank you, Kelly and Sandy, for that wonderful message. Our next speaker this evening is Dr. Ann Stone, who is a member of the Leakey Foundation's Scientific Executive Committee and a research professor in the School of Human Evolution and Social Change at Arizona State University. Ann's specialization and main area of interest is anthropological genetics, which actually is one of Camilla's favorite subjects. Ann, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you. It's such a great pleasure to tell you about some of the scientific, the public outreach importance of the Leakey Foundation. So, and celebrate, of course, Camilla. The Leakey Foundation has had significant impact outside of scientific grant support through public outreach that celebrates the science and makes research about human origins and evolution accessible to the public. These efforts reach multiple audiences through the AnthroQuest newsletter, an emailed newsletter, a blog, science cafes, the Origin Stories podcast, school outreach, webcasts such as Lunch Break Science, and in-person lectures at museum partners around the country, at least when there's no pandemic. I've participated in several of these and they're really amazing. For example, a few years ago, I gave a talk at the Houston Museum of Science. And beforehand, I also gave talks at 2 schools in the Houston area. All 3 of these groups were engaged and asked fantastic questions about my research and human evolution generally. I know other members of the Scientific Executive Committee, as well as other colleagues, have enjoyed these events as well. This past year, unfortunately, these were not possible, but a new and wonderful outreach effort has been Lunch Break Science. So Lunch Break Science is the Leakey Foundation's live streamed web series. It filled the gap and can be found on the Leakey Foundation channel on YouTube. This series features interviews and short talks with Leakey Foundation grantees about the latest in human evolution research. Finally, I'd like to highlight the Origin Stories podcast. This podcast is award-winning. It was a finalist for the 2016 Jackson Hole Wildlife Film Festival Science Media Award and winner Best Documentary of the Pre-Marulik International Audio Festival. It's created and hosted by Meredith Johnson. And this podcast explores human evolution one story at a time. And to date, there's 52 episodes. These stories have covered everything from understanding Neanderthals to a never before released interview by Louis Leakey, recorded in 1969. It's also included face mites and how animals make group decisions about where to go and what to do. So these are just a few of the many exciting outreach activities by the Leakey Foundation. I should also say, as president, Camilla has demonstrated her deep commitment for the mission of the Leakey Foundation, which is to increase the scientific knowledge, education, and public understanding of human origins, evolution, behavior, and survival. Today, of course, we're honoring and emphasizing her role in supporting education and public understanding. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about, or give you an introduction about the award. So in partnership with the American Association of Physical Anthropologists, we've established the AAPA, which is now changing its name actually to the AABA, Biological Anthropology Association, But the award will be the AABA and Leakey Foundation Outreach and Communication Award in honor of Camilla M. Smith. This award will be conferred annually to a member of the AABA in recognition of outstanding public communication and educational outreach efforts in the field of biological anthropology. The award will recognize activities over the previous 24 months that reflect the importance and urgency of promoting scientific literacy, clarity of message, and efforts to foster respect and understanding for the variation, adaptation, and evolution of human beings and their living and fossil relatives. The AABA and the Leakey Foundation recognize many forms of public engagement, including public outreach and dialogue activities such as science cafes, displays, and exhibits, public policy activities, including op-eds, scientific communication activities such as mass media, podcasts, TV, books, and film, and social and online media. The recipient will receive a commemorative plaque, complimentary registration to the annual AABA meeting, one night's accommodation at the meeting, and the winner will receive joint publicity from the Leakey Foundation and AAPA. So thanks to the many of you who've donated to establish this award in honor of Camilla.
Hello, I'm Camilla Smith, and I'm the president of the Leakey Foundation. This is the end of my 6-year term, and I'm so honored to have my name associated with this award that we share with the AAPA and the Leakey Foundation. This award for communication and outreach. So much has changed in biology in the last 20 years. DNA research, and particularly ancient DNA research, big data, collection and analysis of hormones, just to name a few. It's so important to do the research, but it's also important to convey the findings of that research to the general public. It's important so that we can make informed decisions about our lives, so that we understand what research should be funded by our government tax dollars. And there could not be a better choice to have the first award than Brianna Pobiner. I'm so pleased with the work that she did on the exhibit at the National Museum of Natural History, explaining a very difficult subject to the lay public. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Brianna Pobiner, and I'm a paleoanthropologist at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History. I do research on the role of meat eating in the evolution of human diets, and I also lead the education and outreach efforts of the Smithsonian's Human Origins program. I want to send this message of congratulations to Camilla for your 6-year tenure as president of the Leakey Foundation. I also want to express my gratitude for your vision and leadership of one of the world's premier funding organizations for the study of human origins, which has directly supported several research projects I've been involved with, including my own dissertation research. Your support of so many scholars in this field has been pivotal. I am also personally grateful as I was recently the recipient of the 2021 American Association of Physical Anthropologists and Leakey Foundation Communication and Outreach Award in honor of you. Thank you, Camilla.
Thank you, Ann Stone, and congratulations, Brianna. I'm now pleased to share a personal video message from Dr. Rick Potts of the National Museum of Natural History at the Smithsonian.
Hi, Rick Potts here. Hello, Camilla. I'm really glad to be part of this celebration because you are not only a friend, but also a remarkable inspiration, a source of caring for others, and also an activist for education. This includes, of course, your leadership of the Leakey Foundation, the Foundation's commitment to new discoveries, understanding human origins, and all the areas of knowledge that the Foundation stands for. I'd also like to thank you personally for coming out to see us in the field when you visited Kenya, when you came to Alorgas Isle during our drilling operation. I can only imagine that you think of that day as a very, very long day, but I thought it was a really good time had by all. I'm also really grateful for your interest in our national tour, the exhibit Exploring Human Origins, when we came to California. And I do have to say that our dinner together is something that I long remember and was a very special time for me. My main thought here is I finally get a chance to say that when we first got to know each other, I was deeply, so very deeply impressed by all of the organizations where your energies go, whether it's been public radio or television, universities, libraries, teachers, and publishers, all connected with education and a very important thing, advancing a sense of community. And yet your advocacies of those values that runs through everything that I know about you. I'm further delighted that you joined us at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History. And so the bond of research on human evolution connects us on both a professional and a personal level. Congratulations, Camilla. You continue to serve humanity very well. And please enjoy this occasion and all that lies ahead.
Thank you, Rick, for that lovely message. Now it is an honor to introduce Sarah Smith Jones, the daughter of Camilla and George, who will be making a few remarks on behalf of the Smith family.
In the remarks I'm about to make, by the way, thank you, Cheryl. I hear the echo of a lot that's already been said, and this is just our perspective. My mother has a great capacity for joy, work, and wonder. And when I say wonder, I'm referring to both its meanings, the feeling of awe and delight, and the ability to wonder, to see a thing and be filled with curiosity and a desire to know why. My mother is religious, and her interest in religion and spirituality extends beyond her own faith to all faiths. She wants to know what people believe, what they care about most, and seeks always to find the commonalities that bind us as a species. To understand that a chimpanzee's awe at a waterfall, a ritualistic handprint in a cave, and the Catholic Eucharist are evidence of a similar search for meaning larger than ourselves, is my mother's particular talent. The search for meaning and connection has taken a decidedly scientific bent over the past few decades. I am regularly impressed at the clear understanding my mother has of evolutionary changes in occipital bumps and hip joints. Scientists have told me how much fun it is to talk about their work with her because she brings both understanding and curiosity to the conversation. Her voyages with the Leakey Foundation to primatology and paleoanthropology sites have been among the most meaningful in her life, combining her love of travel and new cultural experiences with cutting-edge scientific research. Finally, and this is why we are here tonight, the sharing of ideas is central to my mother's worldview. First, gain knowledge, and next, share the knowledge with the world. My mother firmly believes that education is the key to understanding the world we live in, and much of her time and her energy is spent ensuring that those who seek accurate, clear information can readily find it. Education is the means of extending the things she cares about, understanding, connection, and wonder to others. Thank you.
Thank you for making those remarks on behalf of your family. I really appreciate it.
So I would like to thank everyone. This has been just a joyful 6 years, and because I happen to be in this position during the 50th anniversary of the foundation, we had a lot of kind of special events, and that was so wonderful. I love all the people that are on this Zoom, because we are a family of interests, and I learned so much from everyone. Scientists have always been my heroes, and I thank my husband, who is here in the fog with
And
me.
you have children, you have a lot of family here.
I have a lot of real family here too, and who are always challenging and interesting. And thank you so much for your kind words and all of the scientists. When they asked me to chair to be president of the board, I looked around. I couldn't believe that I should be the next one, and it looked like it was my turn. So I said, and I talked to my assistant, and I said, "Do you think I can do this?" And she said, "Well, you have to prioritize." So I said, "Okay. Number one is the family, and number two is Leakey," and that's kind of how we've done it. And obviously, wonderful things have been done, and I did not do it myself. And it was the staff, the chairs of the communications, the chair of the grants committee, the science executive committee. It's been a real work of a group that are all dedicated to looking at the science and to trying to make it better and more efficient. And every year it's gotten better, and I'm just thrilled to have been there to see it.
And when is the publication date of the book?
We're finally going to publish this book this fall, and you scientists are all in it with what you've discovered for us and helped us understand who we are. I also wanted to say, we were in New York, George and I, and we were moving to California, and someone's whose mother was a trustee of the Leakey Foundation. This was in 1970. Said to us, you should look up the Leakey Foundation. It's in California. It was down in at Caltech. It was a little ways away from San Francisco. But we did go down to hear a lecture, and we were devoted.
Oh, sure.
From the beginning. And George was first a trustee, and then he got too busy, and he, as he said, he bequeathed them me. So I joined the board, and I
Not to be political, but we met the current vice president of the United States at a Leakey gathering
that is
over at
true.
Kay Wood's place.
That's true. In fact, Vice President Harris and I were both on the advisory committee for the Leakey Foundation. So she's very interested in paleoanthropology and in science.
So are you going to write to her?
Well, yes. We voted for her. So
well, you don't need to,
yes,
that's not appropriate. But,
and I'm
going
to
write to her.
There are a lot of things I still don't understand. I can't wait to talk to Ann Stone at some length about methylation. I don't understand methylation. I hope she can explain this to me, and how it works, how you can still see what's going on when the fossils are in the ground. And I want to thank everybody for being so kind to me. And I am not a scientist. I'm an English major who is just very interested in what it is to be human. And I couldn't do it without all the help of the scientists, and I really appreciate it. And so thank you.
Thank you, Camilla. And fortunately, the party is not over yet. We still have a little bit more that we want to share and say to you. So now it's my pleasure to share a special video message from a member of our Scientific Executive Committee, Nina Jablonski.
Greetings. This is a message of thanks to Camilla Smith, the wonderful president of the Leakey Foundation. Camilla, I have always admired you for being such an effective and compassionate leader. You have the ability to make adroit decisions and cut to the chase. You also have the ability to be enthusiastic every time you open a meeting, every time you propel us through discussions, every time you introduce a speaker or close a meeting. That ability to reinvent enthusiasm at every point is such an important quality of leadership, something I admire so greatly and appreciate so deeply. Camilla, we're going to miss you. We hope that you're going to continue to hang around and be a presence on the Leakey board and the Leakey Foundation in general, because you have done so much for all of us. You've infused us with optimism and always with your curiosity, your insatiable curiosity about human and primate evolution and the future of our species. You've been so concerned about what's going to happen to us as a human species in the future. And so many of your efforts have been geared toward effective outreach for the Leakey Foundation. So this is by way of a big virtual thank you hug. Thank you, Camilla, for all that you do and for the qualities of leadership that you epitomize.
Next on tonight's program is Chicago-based trustee Chet Cayman. Now, even though Chet lives in Chicago and Camilla is in San Francisco, they have become close friends, having spent hundreds of hours traveling the world together on Leakey Foundation adventures. Chet, the virtual floor is yours.
So Cheryl asked me to use the occasion of introducing a slideshow of our travels and other significant events involving the foundation to talk about how wonderful you are. And I'm so happy to do that. And I must say, to have a child who can be so eloquent about you and so understanding, at least the way it seems to me, of what makes you so wonderful. What a joy, what a tribute to you and to Sarah that is. So a point of personal privilege, I joined the board of the Leakey Foundation just as Camilla was taking over. And my first meeting was a strategic retreat in which Camilla, in her inimitable way, with warmth and graciousness and welcoming, but also with profound vision, was changing the direction of the foundation and really taking us into the digital era. And a number of people have referred to that, but I was really at the first meeting where this was happening. And it was done in such a subtle way, but still with such emphasis and clarity. And in the 6 years since then, our reach has expanded 1,000-fold. We reach hundreds of thousands of people around the world, which we were not doing. So it was your leadership and your vision that expressed that. So the pictures, Nancy and I were lucky enough to travel on several of these events, and a number of people I see who are on this call shared in those as well. And you can see from some of these pictures what people have been talking about all night. Camilla's warmth, her intellectual curiosity. A number of these pictures, you can't hear it, but she's asking penetrating questions of scientists in China and India, South Africa, Ethiopia. And it's just been so special to be with you on all those wonderful occasions. And I also want to say, Camilla, you have an uncanny knack for turning up people from your network who can be useful to the Leakey Foundation. Others have mentioned this, but whether it's NPR or PBS, the Smithsonian, National Geographic, Teachers College, whatever, you pull all of this in and we can share it and it benefits us so much. And just one little vignette, I'm not sure there's a picture of this. I think there may be a picture in the restaurant, but Camilla and George were next door neighbors to the Indian consulate. And when we were in Delhi, Camilla introduced us to two couples. The gentleman had been consul general of India, and we shared a wonderful dinner together in a restaurant. I got to sit next to the wife of one of them, who Oxford educated, brilliant woman, who said that this was the restaurant in which she and her husband had had their first date. And so it's that kind of intimate relationship that makes the travel so much more meaningful. It's priceless for all of us. We've all benefited from it so much. So thank you so much, Camilla. And with that, I think we will have the slideshow.
So many treasured memories spent together. I'd like to thank Chet Cayman, John Broderick, and Bill Worthland for supplying so many of those photos. An important member of our foundation family could not join us tonight, but he wanted to send Camilla a special message, and he asked that I read it during this celebration. Dr. John Mitani is co-chair of the Scientific Executive Committee, and he is at his research site in Gogo in Uganda. And he wrote this for you, Camilla. Dear Camilla, I'm very sorry that I can't be there. I've been back at Ngogo after a long COVID-induced hiatus. I'd like to thank you for your years of service as president of the Leakey Foundation. To honor the occasion of your stepping down as president, I'm pleased to name an Ngogo chimp after you. Camilla the chimp is now about 2 years old. She was born in December 2019, right before COVID struck, so we hadn't had a chance to name her yet. Her mother is Baez, who immigrated into the Ngogo community in 2014. Baez gave birth to 2 infants in 2016 and 2017. Neither survived, as there is often high mortality to kids born to young mothers. I am sure, though, that the third time is the charm, because Camilla the chimp is strong and healthy. I have provided these photos taken by Kevin Lee, an ASU graduate student and Leakey Foundation grantee. In the future, I'll continue to provide updates on Camilla the chimp's progress as she continues to mature. All the best, John Mitani. And wow, what a special honor. In looking through the pantheon of famously named chimpanzees in the wild, you are in good company with the remarkable Mama Flo, a chimp named Leakey, and a chimp named Getty. So congratulations on this truly unique honor, Camilla. And now, I'd like to share a video message from Dr. Kristen Hawkes, who joined the SEC in 1984.
I'm Kristen Hawkes, distinguished professor at the University of Utah, longtime member of the SEC, the Scientific Executive Committee. And I want to thank Camilla for all of her amazing service. One of the most distinctive things about Camilla is she is almost the first one to ask a question and persistently ask questions. And it's always made me wonder, what if that incredible curiosity had made her actually not be a science groupie, as she describes herself, but a scientist? What we would know, whoa. But we all do whatever we can, and boy, are we thankful for all the contributions that Camilla has given, not only to the Leakey Foundation, but to so much that is wonderful in public life.
Thank you, Kristen, for saying what all of us feel. And that is going to do it for tonight's celebration. I want to offer our heartfelt thanks to Bill Richards, Ann Stone, Sarah Smith-Jones, Chet Cayman, and John Mitani. A very special nod of gratitude to Bernard Wood for tonight's talk. I'd also like to thank Ariel Johnson for offering her incredible technical skills to facilitate such a complex online program tonight. And a personal note of thanks to Colleen, Camilla's assistant extraordinaire, whose attention to detail and good humor made so much possible these past 6 years. It's been a pleasure to work with you so closely. But the biggest thanks go to Camilla Smith for your steadfast leadership, inspired creativity, collaborative spirit, adventurous attitude, and good humor with the most joyful laugh. On a personal note, thank you, Camilla, for being the type of leader who makes every move forward with warmth, compassion, never-ending intellectual curiosity, genuine kindness, and keen insight into human behavior, which you use to inform many of your leadership decisions. Working beside you for the past 6 years has been the opportunity of a lifetime. If any of you, our guests, would like to stay on Zoom for a bit longer to talk with Camilla, please feel free. But otherwise, thank you for joining us tonight and have a good evening.
Cheryl, let me just say, so the new president is going to be Jean Newman, and Jeannie is going to do a fabulous job. I met Jeannie at a lecture of the Leakey Foundation, and I said I had known her for years because our children went to the same school. And I said, Jeannie, are you interested in this stuff? And she said, yes. And I said, oh, Jeannie, I've got a place for you. You've got, and she has been so wonderful. And I have gotten credit for the moving into the digital age, but I have to say Jean Newman has really shepherded that, and I appreciate that. And I also want to thank Cheryl and the staff. I am truly touched and really did not expect it at all, and don't really deserve it, but I thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see some of you tomorrow morning.